Welcome to Soul Sync.
Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to Soul Sync, babes.
What is up, people?
How are
How's
you
it going?
doing?
I'm dead. We got to get the giggles out somehow. So you guys are going to have to excuse us while we giggle real quick.
We literally were trying to start it so many times, and we were giggling back and forth at each other. But shit, I feel like this is the perfect energy for what we're going to talk about today, Taylor.
It is. I love being in this energy.
I know. So hopefully you guys feel it too and you feel like fairy airy because we're coming at you today to talk about how you create what you believe. And we want to talk to you about actively manifesting your dream life.
Oh, fuck yeah. Why wouldn't you want to do that, people? Like, it's all in reach. You can have whatever you want in this life. It's all energy and it's something you could just morph into honestly anything.
So we want to talk to you because we've done so many different like rituals. Taylor was telling me about this amazing manifesting hack. She was like, I don't even know where it came from. She was like, it just came out of me. And I was like, so we gotta fucking share it because we definitely have been working on up leveling our own lives and calling in some really big manifestations. And these things that we're about to tell you work like a motherfucking charm.
Literally. And it's things that we've experienced and we've seen the success in ourselves. And like, I don't know, it's just so easy to see like when you're journaling and writing out everything that you're calling to yourself. And, you keep that journal entry and then months, maybe weeks, maybe even days, or, sometime down the line, you read it back and you're like, oh my God, I got everything that I manifested. So it's like proof, like right then and there of like, wow, like we as humans have a lot of power on this earth. Let me tell you, I don't know why I've been sleeping on this for so many years of my life because I just wasn't educated on it. But like, once you know, you know.
100%. I was gonna say that. It's like I feel like we didn't do it because we didn't know how to do it. I think a lot of people like they oftentimes will go to like complaining and venting and that's very important too. You want to release these like things that are happening, these things that you don't want, but oftentimes we spend more time thinking and talking about what we don't want to happen versus speaking aloud what you do want to call in, what you do want to create. So, today we're going to be talking all about our tips and tricks of how to fucking call it in and make sure that you are dialed in, like bird's eye point of view on your desires.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, Taylor, I feel like we got to tell them about this hack. Like, we literally told them, like, we gave them little nuggets so far. So, I feel like that's what we should start with.
Totally. Yeah. So it's all basically with the law of attraction, too. So when you're speaking affirmations and you're speaking things that you want and you truly believe to a core to the universe, just every day in every way, and you're just feeling it in its entirety, it comes up and it's manifested and it happens in your physical reality. So, one thing I don't even know, I was driving to work one day and it just like popped into my head, like, let me say some affirmations. So, I'm saying my affirmations, you feel them, you feel good, you know that they're true to your like core. And then I was just so called to like speak out loud as if I was being interviewed for things that I've already accomplished. Well, so to speak. So it was interview format and it was someone asking me like, Taylor, how did you like get so successful? Like, how did you get your dream house? How did you find your dream boyfriend and your dream friend group? And how did you do everything? And it was just me, just first of all, feeling so accomplished as if I've already had all of those things and I already got them. And I was just telling people in an interview how I did it and how it made me feel. And I just rambled on for like probably an hour straight. But within that hour, I put myself in such a high vibration and such a like receiving energy and just like confirming energy of like, I have all this right now. And they say that that's the trick to it too, is to believe that you already have it. And there are like a lot of studies, I believe, that people do that with their own health too. And, like, if you know to a core that you're healthy and you don't have cancer, you don't have this, like, there have been known cases where they've shrunk their own tumors and, like, have gotten rid of their own cancers and diseases just from the mind alone. So
Mhm.
it's like, you really do have a lot of control within this physical plane of, like, what we can accomplish, what we can get, and it's mostly, like, what you can attract to yourself. So that was so amazing, like, of a practice to me because I was really harping on the perfect boyfriend thing. And lo and behold, I got exactly that and
Mhm.
then some. So, and then the perfect job, like these things just started like flying to me. And I wouldn't say it was necessarily like just from this one practice, but it was kind of everything together and solidifying that belief in myself of just being like, this is true, like this is what I have. So, and there are a lot of different ways to do this too. I know Sammy has little tricks on this also. What things have you done that you found success in for manifesting?
First, I want to piggyback off yours because I want to remind you guys, we started the podcast when Taylor was calling all of this in. And you remember that she got everything she wanted within a month. Okay. Within 30 days, she met Tyler. She got this job. She had so much healing around losing her best friend. Like, there was literally so many things that she called in such a fast pace. So I want to remind you guys that as well of like, when you do these things, just remember, it can come to you today. It could come to you tomorrow. So I want you to be in that energy. But I kind of want to also piggyback around this hack because I actually just did this earlier this week for myself because a lot of you guys know that I am moving to Austin, Texas. And what you probably don't know is that I'm actually moving alone right now. So Tom is in New Hampshire. We've been very like quiet about whether or not we were going to share this, but he has a job opportunity. So he's going to be there for the whole summer. So I really get to use this time, and this is something I was talking to Taylor about before, to figure out who do I want to be as an independent during this time? How do I want to show up? What do I want for my business? What do I want for the apartment, for my dream life in Austin? Because I really get to make all of these decisions for myself right now. And I did this exact method, but the only difference I made was I actually recorded it. So I took an audio recording and I started it with, Sammy, how did you get everything that you wanted by the end of summer? Right? Because I'm like, I have all these things. They're just going to come to me. And that's why I reminded you of how fast all of this can come in, because that's exactly what's going to happen for me. And you guys are going to get the whole update the entire way along. But I recorded it via audio and I'll listen to it. So I listen to it when I'm happy. I listen to it maybe when I need a little bit more of a pick me up, like maybe I'm feeling a little sad, I'm missing Tom, or I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a little overwhelmed about the packing. I will go and listen to that audio. And let me tell you, it brings you right back up. So that's another hack that I would say, like, audio your dream life. Like, go ahead and say it and speak about it as if it already happened. So, for example, I live in the most high vibrational, homey, safe, boho apartment that has everything I want and need. Perfect example, right? I put I am, so I'm already in that energy. And then I put exactly what energy I want my apartment to be and how I want to feel. I want it to feel high vibrational. I want it to feel safe. So I want you guys to really connect it with your emotions too, because that's going to make it so much more powerful. Because at the end of the day, anything that we're calling into our lives, we're calling it in because we want to be happy, we want to be successful, we want to feel free, we want to feel all of these emotions. So it's really important to make sure that you're pinpointing those emotions, you're saying them. So when you're listening back to this audio, you're feeling them too.
Yes. Oh my God, I fucking love that. Girl, it's wild because it's the same thing with negative emotions.
Mhm.
And if you're saying I am and then something negative after it, you are also manifesting. So you can kind of make yourself stuck in these situations or put yourself in a little box and you're not even realizing it at the end of the day. So, like, if you constantly tell yourself, I'm tired, I'm sick, like I'm anxious, I'm this, I'm that. It's like you're also putting out that energy of that low vibration. So it's like you're attracting things from that exact frequency to you to prove it to be correct.
Mhm.
It's really beneficial to figure out what frequency you're speaking in and what you want to accomplish with the words that you're choosing to say. So I think any practice like this is just super important. And it doesn't even seem like a lot, but it really adds up when it becomes a core belief of yours.
100%. I think it's also important to just talk about like how powerful the words you say aloud are. Like I remember I had heard this quote and it was like, you know, your words are spelled because think about or no, your words are spells plural. But because think about it, we spell when it comes to spelling the words, right? So it's like the words that you say are technically spells. You're putting it out into the universe. That is what you're calling in. So another thing is like when you are speaking these things out loud, the universe can hear you like so much more powerfully. And I remember my coach Michaela was doing a session with us and she was talking about how what you say out loud versus what you journal is like 10 times more powerful. So like Taylor said, if you are saying a little bit more of these negative things, you're going to call it in. So make sure that whatever you say out loud, even if you say something like I'm tired and you're like, you know what, I reject that. That's a really big thing too, because you can always reverse what you're manifesting as well. So let's say you say, I'm tired or I'm fat or I'm lonely and like you just need to get it out. Be like, I reject that. And then follow it with something that is going to prove your statement to be true. So if you say, for example, I'm tired, say, I reject that. I am full of energy. I'm more energized. I feel good. You know, like follow it with something that you actually want to feel and call it into your reality.
Dude, oh my God. I remember that was like such a huge thing. I'm wondering, was it Michaela J that said the I reject that thought thing?
I don't know. I feel like I probably did get it from her knowing me. I think it honestly was. I think we got it from a podcast, like one of her early podcasts.
I think we did too, because I remember that time in my life and it was like such a pivotal moment with everything in manifesting. And it was when I would notice my ego self coming up and I
Mm.
would reject her. Like I'd be like, I reject that thought. I reject that thought. I reject that thought. And I remember you did it a lot too. And you got me into the habit of doing it. And it was so, oh my God, like magic, like so beneficial of just like shutting up that ego and being like, no, I don't like, I hear you as a thought, but that I'm not resonating with it. That's not what we're going with. And that's not what we're believing. So that is like a huge, really important way to just like stop the bad manifesting in its place and be like, no, okay, like thoughts can swim in and out of my head, sure, but I choose which ones I resonate with and I choose which ones are true. So it's really like learning to navigate that too.
I feel like I have a really good place of where we should go after this. So,
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing I wanted to like share with you guys is this little game that I've been playing. And I heard this from a podcast I was listening to yesterday. She was talking about how she really wanted her husband to become a billionaire, and not because of the money, but because she saw so many billionaires that weren't really doing anything with their money in a good way. And she was like, you know what? If my husband was a billionaire, we would be doing X, Y, Z, we would be helping people. And she goes, I used to ask him, like, what if you were a billionaire? What would you do with your money? How would your day to day look? And she was like, because I wanted to teach him it was just as easy and it took just as much energy to think positively than it does to think negatively. So I was actually reading Taylor and I, it's so funny. We planned this podcast last week. We had like a great little golden nugget idea. We were like, okay, let's talk about actively manifesting your dream life. And then today we were on our hawker walk for an hour. Both of us were talking about like what's we want to do within this next stage of our life. And last night I had played this what if game and I was like, what if? And I just wrote out all these things that I wanted. Like it's literally 5 pages worth of things that I'm calling in. And I was like, what if I learned to love living on my own? Like in reality, I've never lived on my own before. Like I went from living with my parents to living with Tom. So now I have these next 3 months to learn what does it feel like to be in my own energy, right? What does it feel like to entertain myself, to have my own hobbies, to be able to put 100% energy into my own self-love, into my business, into all of these things. And I was just playing this what if game and it was so much fun, and I read the entire thing to Taylor, so that's another major hack when it comes to actively manifesting your dream life. Talk about it with the people you trust, because honestly, talking about my dreams with Taylor, they always come true. And the reason why is because her energy is so powerful that when our energies come together, I feel like the universe just it just like is like, "Oh my goodness, I want to give you guys everything that you want." And it's just something that like we feel in our hearts. So I read the whole thing to her and the first thing she said was, "Oh my god, that was so powerful." Right? So even if you're not necessarily in a stage right now, maybe you live with your partner. So maybe speaking things out loud isn't as easy for you to do. You can journal. And I want you to journal into the future. I want you to journal what would your dream life look like? What would you be doing? What would you be calling in? And I want you to play this what if game of like, what if you got everything you wanted and more? What would you be calling in? What would you be doing? Like for me, it was a ton of traveling. It was a ton of hobbies. It was a ton of hanging out with my friends and going kayaking and going to dance class with Michaela, going to yoga class, making sure that Nala and Boomy were always taken care of no matter where I was. Like I had all of my ducks in a row and I felt so good with every single thing that I wrote down.
Holy shit. Yeah, it was so amazing. It was so powerful, and I feel so blessed to even be able to hear it because, girl, am I doing the exact same thing today? Like, it also just puts into perspective, like, the ceiling we put on ourselves too, like the limit we set, like we talked about in our previous episode. It's like the what if game is really just also expanding your mind to all the possibilities and all of the best case scenarios and then some, you know? Like anything you want in this life, like get creative with it. Like what do you really desire? What do you really want? What kind of person do you really want to be? What type of situations do you really want to attract for yourself? And it's all right there. It's just like being able to be open and receptive to it. And oh my God, I think there's so much power with the what if game. Seriously, like you can expand your mind in so many different directions too. Like I didn't really think at first I wanted to, get into like facials and like specific things with massage therapy. I thought I was just like, oh, I just want to massage people and that's my goal. And then I want to do Reiki and that's my goal. But then it's also like you kind of think and you're like, well, what if I also get certified in lymphatic draining and cupping, and I get more into facials? And what if I had my own business one day? And what if my business was fucking thriving and I only attracted the best people, that I wouldn't have like certain negative energies in my space all the time? So it's like, it piggybacks off of all these like solutions to problems too. It's like, if you're not happy where you're at, just move. you know? So it gives you that option and that clarity too of like, you have unlimited possibilities and unlimited choices in your life. So it's like, what direction do you want to move in to make sure that this happens? Even earlier today, me and Sammy were talking about like budgeting, and she was giving me like amazing budgeting advice. Cause if you know me, you know that if I am in the mood for coffee, I'll get coffee. Like there's no whatever. So I need to be better with that. But it was really just like that one decision and one choice. I was like, Sammy, I was in front of the coffee shop when we had this, like when we were having that conversation. I literally walked there to get coffee. And that one decision of like, you know what? You're so right. If I actively choose right now to save this money and like not spend it and just go home and make the exact same thing, like I'm also sending out that energy of like, I'm ready to save. I'm ready to like keep this money and to pay off things so that I can manifest like other things. That's exactly what I did. And it's just like little, stepping stones like that. And they all kind of like trail into like such a bigger picture. And then before you know it, you look back and you're like, damn, I did manifest that shit for myself. Good for me.
Mm. I'm so proud of you, girl.
Thanks. Well, it was your advice and, like your good energy and just putting myself back in the energy of like, what do you actually want? What's important? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to do for it?
Yeah, I think that's what's like really the most important. I was talking to one of my clients and she was telling me, she was like, "Oh my God, I'm only in week 2 of your program and I'm so grateful because I invested in myself with you." She was like, "I just attracted one of my first like blowout weekly clients." She was like, "I've been calling good clients in. I work at a really high-end place, so sometimes the people can be a little bit more stuck up." And she was like, "But I feel like with the good energy I get from you every single day and the work I've been putting on myself," she was like, "I'm at a good frequency where I called in the perfect client." And she was telling me all about her. And I told her, I was like, "Okay, that's amazing." I was like, "So let's celebrate that." And I was like, "How can we call more clients like that in?" We were just talking about this on another podcast when Taylor entered my program. It was like, look, I want high vibe, dedicated women who genuinely want to transform their lives. Like they genuinely want to be healthier, to feel better about themselves, feel better in their skin, and really go down this health and spiritual path. That is what I'm looking for. So it was so funny because my client, she's that for me. Like, I mean, when she was telling me, like, "Oh my God, I feel so high vibe and I'm attracting the clients I want," I was like, "Yes, those are the clients that I want." Because at the end of the day, like, this is something that I heard Michaela say on her live yesterday. She was like, "I'm attracting so many good friends in Austin because I always say Austin is filled of high vibe wellness girlies who are entrepreneurial and they have really big goals, right? They're mindset driven." And I realized I was like, well, that's exactly what I want too, not only for my friend group, but truthfully for my clients, because a lot of my clients are managers, are nurses, are entrepreneurs. So they have a busy, like high vibe lifestyle where they take care of themselves, they take care of others. So I want to feed off that energy and I want to call in more and be like, you know what? No, I want clients like Taylor. I want clients like Jillian. I want clients like Cecilia because they have the characteristics that one inspire me as a coach, which I feel like is just as important. But two, we meld really, really, really well. So if you know exactly what you want and you can be specific like I am, like I know exactly what I love about all of my clients. And that's why I'm so grateful. And when people come to me and they're like, "Hey Sammy, I want to know about your coaching," I look for those things. And let me tell you, I have a lot more discernment now that if I notice that we don't really meld or I don't feel like they would get along with my clients, I actually tell them, "I don't think we're a good fit right now." I don't think that our vibe would like get along that well. And it gives me so much power because then I continue to be open for the clients that I do want and for the clients that do resonate with me and my community.
Holy shit. I love that.
Mhm.
And that helps the flow of the type of clients that you're attracted because you're being firm in that belief of like, no, these are the clients I want and these are the clients I'm going to get. And it's the same with your belief with Austin, Texas too. It's like once you declare it to the universe, you will attract exactly that and you'll see more and more of that because you also have eyes to it too. And just like the what if game, I used to play like a I'm so grateful for game too. And it
Ooh.
was stuff that I didn't have yet either. So it was definitely a manifesting type thing, but mixing in the gratitude of it so that you feel the energy of gratitude of that thing. So it would be the exact same concept and it would be I'm so grateful for this amazing boyfriend that I have. I'm so grateful for, this 10K a month business that I started all by myself, like stuff like that. And it's really just putting yourself in the whole like gratitude, which is such a high vibration to be in, and just shedding light and gratitude on things that like you don't have yet, but the universe thinks that you have it. So it's going to line everything up perfectly for you, and then it's just gonna flow into your life until you do.
100%. And that kind of reminded me of like, sometimes we need to be grateful for things that might not feel so high vibe too. So, like, when we're talking about Austin, as you guys can kind of tell from our conversation today, one of the things I'm really working on is like just really being crystal clear about who Sammy is as an independent. And I was thrown a little off my rock earlier this week because I had a whole plan about the drive to Austin, and I had someone who was going to be coming with me, and I had asked her months ago. So this whole time I was like, okay, I have a support system. I'm gonna have help with the pets. And unfortunately, last minute, they decided that they didn't have the energy to do it and they couldn't commit to it anymore. And I was really proud of myself because I communicated how that made me feel and how I was really nervous. And I understood because at the end of the day, we always have to choose ourselves. But at the same time, I do wish I had more time to maybe have found somebody else to come with me if they knew that they weren't going to be able to commit to it. Or, you know, I felt like, oh, like, victimness really wanted to come out of me and be like, and my ego really wanted to be mad and angry at them. And I took this moment to kind of ask myself, what am I learning from this? What is me driving to Austin alone and doing the move alone going to teach me? How is this giving me what I am manifesting right now? And when I changed that perspective, because I did it immediately, I did it on the phone with them because I wanted to make sure that I left the conversation with love and light because at the end of the day, that's how I feel for this person in my life. And even though I was definitely disappointed by this news, I also completely understood. So again, it's like you are able to have multiple emotions and multiple feelings all at once. But when I shifted that perspective and I was like, what is this teaching me? I was like, well, you know what? Now I can travel whenever I want after this trip. Like, I'm facing this fear of doing a longer trip by myself, but once I do it, I can do it anytime I want to after that. I can have more confidence in myself because I overcame a really big fear of mine. So that's going to make me a higher vibrational person in general because now I have more trust for myself. I have more belief in myself, more confidence in myself. And I realized that that's the version of Sammy I want to enter Austin in. Like, I love the person I am now, but I definitely feel like this past year was a lot of lessons, a lot of me ignoring and like pushing aside my ego to step into that next level high vibrational version of me. And I've done so many meditations, so much releasing that I feel like this next chapter is like me, but on crack, on a high crack, right? Like on like a high vibrational spiritual type crack, like not actual, okay? But that's where I want my energy to be. Like, I want it to be so motherfucking sky high. And that takes so much self trust and belief and love. And throughout this road trip, that's what I get now, you know? So it's like, even though I could have seen this situation as like something that was happening bad, Taylor and I were talking about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm manifesting this for the greatest good. I'm manifesting this because I need to learn something from this. And in the end, it's going to give me exactly what I want. And guess what time it is? 11:11.
I just noticed that at the exact same time that you said it. I was like, yo.
So I want you guys to remember that sometimes things that could feel like a little overwhelming, or it might feel like things are crumbling, sometimes it crumbles to come back together the way it's truly meant to for you and your greatest and highest good.
Oh, preach, queen. And a setback isn't necessarily a setback, it's just a redirection.
Mhm.
So there's a big amount of trust in it too, you know? We
Mhm.
just got to trust the universe. And I think it's important to acknowledge this motherfucking book that did it for me. As far as anything like scientific or any proof of this, if anyone's curious, goes, the book Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. Have you ever read this, Sammy?
I have not, but I literally just listened to a podcast with Ed Milet and Joe Dispenza on Monday.
Oh my God. Joe Dispenza is magical, but he maps out everything that we're basically saying to you in like a scientific type of way and proves that it actually works and it's actually true. He has a couple programs, a couple meditations, like guided meditations too, that are basically like the same thing that we do and the same thing we talk about. And there's one that's beautiful and it's all these affirmations and he's saying it to you and he's repeating it over and over. And it's kind of like to get yourself in that receiving mindset too. But this book, if anyone is like curious to learn more about manifesting and the legitimacy behind it, definitely read Becoming Supernatural because that is another thing that did it for me. I was like, oh, there is so much more to this than I ever knew, and that we're even touching base on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So get on it, people.
Oh my god, I love it, and I feel like especially talking about, like, how the meditation part of it can be so powerful too, because when you close your eyes and you shut off your brain and you just allow yourself to visualize and play with what your dream life would look like, or play with like what would having my own business look like, what would my day to day look like, what clients would I have around, how would I unwind for the night, when you're really tapping into how that would feel and how that would look, you're connecting to your higher self, right? Because I think the quote that always has done it for me, and Joe Dispenza like literally said this in the podcast, he was like, your desires want you as badly as you want them. Like, you literally get the intuitive download to want to start your own business, or to want to start your fitness journey, or to go to the coffee shop where you meet your best friend. And oh my goodness, how could that synchronicity happen? You get those downloads because your desires are manifesting you just as much. And that's something I think about a lot when it comes to Austin. Like, I have just felt so called to go there. And then my friend did one of those readings on me where she sees like where you are kind of like meant to be in the whole US. And my line went directly through Austin. So it's like Austin wants me there for these things that I'm going to learn just as badly as I wanted to be in Austin. So it's the same for everything else that you're desiring too. And the meditations can be so powerful.
It's amazing. Like this man is like the father of manifesting, in my opinion. um, or at least like the new age father of manifesting. I'm sure this shit has been around forever, and we're just slowly learning, our roots and what power we actually have on this earth. So it's pretty cool.
It is. Well, I actually have some free resources for you guys. So I'm obsessed with this girl right now. Her name is Reiki Rachel. So we will go ahead, just in case you guys don't want to pay for something, like we will go ahead and put that in the show notes for you, because I personally have been using her meditations. And let me tell you, like, she is like an angel. I literally, like, I will get chills. I will feel my energy rising. There was one I did yesterday where it was like a manifestation one, but in the beginning, you thought about things that like made you feel like worthless, and I like had like all of these like really big things come up of like deaths that I saw, or like heartbreak that I went through, or failures that I felt like were really hard on me. And I literally felt like a huge release. Like, I thought about all of them and she was like, okay, now it's time to let it go. And I let it go, and then you think about what you want to manifest. So I feel like that's really powerful too when it comes to like actively manifesting your dream life, is you need to release the past, because Taylor literally said a quote to me. I'm going to read it word for word because I wrote it down. And she said, let go of the narrative of the past, because the past is not the future, right? So I think sometimes we can get so caught up in what has happened before, or what you've experienced and the pain, and we'll hold on to that and we'll make it our identity. So I love Rachel because when she does these Reiki lessons or these YouTube videos, she always starts with the clearing first, and then she brings in the manifestation, right? So it's like you're already starting from like such a clear frequency that you really can actually feel the feelings of joy and excitement and gratitude. And that's really what it's all about. Right? Like, that's really what we all want within this. So I hope you guys will like that as well.
Oh my god, queen. Yeah, I can't wait to check out her stuff too. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, well, she's the one that I sent you with all the archangels, so I've actually already sent you a couple of hers, so
Oh, I'm just slacking. No, I will definitely look into her. I fucking love it. I feel like this is a great place to wrap it up too.
I feel like we gave you guys a lot of golden nuggets. You guys better have been taking notes because we gave you multiple different just like techniques of what you can use and use all of them, right? Or find one that really works and resonates with you and just like go all in.
Yeah, like bet on yourself at the end of the day, people.
Mhm.
And stay in that high vibing energy. Only the best things come from it.
Oh yeah, everything is working out in your favor. You got to remind yourself that.
Period.
All right, Taylor.
So until next time, everyone, we love you.
Where can they find you?
You can find me at Taylor Babel on Instagram. Where can they find you, Sammy?
You guys can find me on all platforms. That's going to be Sammy Roos, SAMIRUESS. And you already know Instagram has the underscore.
Don't forget that underscore, people. And then we have our SoulSync account, SoulSync SB on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. And we have an Ask Us Docs. Don't forget about that. If you want to ask, if you want to comment, if you want to be like, damn, y'all looked so good. Everything you were saying, I was feeling. And you know what? I just manifested my dream car or something. We care. We want to hear.
Fuck yeah.
So reach out.
And if you know someone who is manifesting some big things, like Taylor and I are over here, make sure you send that over to them, okay? Send it to your best friend, send it to your partner. Anybody can use these techniques and it's gonna change their motherfucking life. So change your own life and then go and change everybody else's around you because at the end of the day, we all wanna up level together. Am I right?
You are right, girlfriend.
All right, queens. Well, until next time, we love you.
Love you. Bye.